Hello everybody and welcome to today's video. I am freezing, I've got layers upon layers on, so do forgive the odd ensemble of clothes. Anyway, I am here to talk about Starling House by Alix E. Harrow. I was kindly gifted this by Black Crow PR and I took part in the book tour and I gave some thoughts as I was reading this in November. Thank you very much to them and Tour UK for sending this my way. So Starling House is Alix E. Harrow's latest novel and it was delightful. I had read the 10,000 Doors of January beforehand and absolutely adored that one. It was so beautiful, so I was super excited to try some more from this author and I was not disappointed. Step into Starling House if you dare. Nobody in Eden remembers when Starling House was built, but the town agrees it's best to let this ill-omened mansion and its last lonely heir go to hell. Stories of the house's bad luck, like good china, have been passed down for generations. Who knows better than to mess with haunted houses or brooding men, but when an opportunity to work there arises, the money might get her brother out of Eden. Starling House is uncanny and full of secrets, just like Arthur, its heir. It also feels strangely dangerously like something she's never had, a home. Opal isn't the only one interested in the horrors and the wonders that lie buried beneath it. Sinister forces converge on Eden and Opal realises that if she wants a home, she'll have to fight for it, even if it involves digging up her family's ugly past to achieve a better future. She'll have to go down, deep down beneath Starling House to claw her way back to the light. This oozed rich gothic atmosphere from the start. It felt like a dark fantasy, really twisty fairy tale with fantastic similes that brought the writing even more to life. I was pleasantly surprised to see some illustrations were included within this, just dotted throughout, especially when learning about E. Starling's uncomfortable airy art. So in this, it's almost like a book about books as well to an extent, which kind of 10,000 Doors of January was also like in a way. We find this children's book that is quite disturbing. It's got some strange dark illustrations and that's kind of like the setup for the mystery and intrigue of Starling House, and some of those illustrations were dotted throughout this book, which was absolutely phenomenal. We're following our main character Opal as well as Arthur and Opal's brother Jasper, and I really enjoyed when we switched from perspective between Arthur and Opal. It switched from first person narrative to third person, which I found greatly emphasised this detached air and reclusive lifestyle that Arthur had in relation to Opal. She was still very isolated, but she was much more outgoing, and she'd just do anything really to secure safety for her brother. So yeah, you felt like she was kind of bubbly, you know, on the surface bubbly and open, and that definitely was reflected in how their perspective was written. I had read Melissa Albert's The Hazelwood a couple of months prior to this, and this story is quite reminiscent of that to me. I felt like the theme of this reclusive author that wrote one book and mysteriously disappeared and has a sinister fairy tale that may be steeped in truth was very much a theme within this as well. So I really liked I clearly really like that within stories, and this was done really well in this story. There are moments between Opal and Arthur that reminded me also of the Secret Society for Irregular Witches, which I loved and really adored as well. So that was nice to kind of pick up on themes and ideas that I enjoyed from other books and kind of see it woven into this. But this was much more gothic and dark and deep and atmospheric, and it feels like a modern day classic in a way. Adored the character growth that we got between Opal, Jasper and Arthur. I felt they were all beautifully depicted, as were the details on their desires and nightmares and how trapped they all felt in different ways being in Eden and feeling like they can't escape. When different secrets and mysteries were unearthed as the story progressed, you really got this like strong sense of how deep the rot of the town was. Despite the citizens believing they were good in every way that counted, they were often complicit in so much corruption of the town, cruelty, neglect of those that were vulnerable, and just turned a blind eye to what was going on without actually asking the big questions. There were very few characters within this story that seemed to care, even if the caring was like a quiet, like, I'm watching you, I'm making sure you're okay from afar, you know. So that was interesting to see. The mirroring and rewriting of stories, loneliness, homelessness and depression and desperation for vengeance were also such strong themes within this story. They were harrowing and devastating, but it swept me away perfectly into another realm, another reality whenever I picked Starling House up. This overall was just such a moving tale of lies woven into truth and truth woven into lies, and it begs you to ask yourself what your story will be. Where will you choose to burrow your roots down, and where will you make a home? Before I go, I want to read to you a few quotes that I highlighted. I highlighted lots of things like beautifully written, things that linked to like just classic Gothic literature, things that I thought were like preludes to what's to come. So I will choose some things that aren't spoilery and read them out. Starling House makes me think of an underfed pet or a broken door, a thing unloved by the person who promised to love it best. I think he can't leave. It sounds like he tried, but he's bound to that house in some way I don't understand. Trapped in this town just like me, making the best of the messes our mothers left us. We never had a family album. I used to sneak onto Mum's phone and scroll back as far as I could in her pictures, but there weren't any from before I was born. It's like she sprang from the skull of the world, fully formed and laughing, a woman without history. So that was my thoughts and feelings reading Starling House by Alix E. Harrow. Let me know if you've read this yourself and what you thought about it, or if you'll be picking it up. I would love to know. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I shall catch you in another video soon. Bye.